Atheist Antidote starts now. The podcast, where pop culture and Christian conservative commentary collide. And now your host, Brock Lawley.
So last year at this time, John Carter or whatever was a flop, and Ted was a big hit. This year at this time, Lone Ranger's a flop. This movie called The Heat is the like kind of surprise hit. What I'm thinking is these people investing this money, business for them, which really hurts movie lovers because if the movie doesn't make enough money, they're never going to risk making a sequel. So you get something really good that you like, but people just don't go to see it for whatever reason. You don't get any more of that experience ever again. Now, The Lone Ranger, there's something inside of me that just said, this is probably not going to be a good movie, or it's going to be one of those movies that's okay. It didn't need to be made. They made it. That's what I felt since the beginning. I mean, I'm sure it's good for what it is. I just don't know with all these bright minds why they keep recycling stuff. I know that it's safer to do a reboot. I think you'd learn by now that these movies don't really make any money. You know what makes money is kids' movies.
I think what happened with The Lone Ranger is I think the populace hit their wall by way of recycle and re-chew up the cod in the mouth of the cow or whatever, spit it back out to us. But I don't know. I mean, maybe that flick's good, but I know it's just tanking at the box office. I thought that was an interesting point. There'll be something that'll come out. The best example of this isn't a film. It's Firefly. It's the television series, Firefly TV show. But they get their hooks in you because it's such quality art, and they just can't find an audience, and that's just devastating as a viewer.
Well, it accumulates, and no matter how popular, no matter how powerful the geeky people think they are, even though Firefly has this like ridiculous following, it just never was popular enough with the mainstream to merit. They did the groundswell made. There was a movie made that kind of. They're like, okay, well, we're going to just appease these people, so they threw a couple $1 million at the movie, which I really enjoyed. I thought the movie was better than most.
What was it? Was it called Serenity?
Serenity, yeah.
You know, he's great. He's got terrible politics. Again, he's just such a left-wing whack job. But he's a creative, rare unicorn, in my opinion, because he's one of the guys that really has Spielberg's level of just creative mind. It has the discipline of craft to bring it to the screen. I mean, he's really good.
I don't get it. A lot of these geniuses that I just can't. I don't want to know anything about them because it always disappoints me. I'd much rather stay in the area where I don't know anything about them. I mean, some of them are so militant and outspoken. You can't help, like Jim Carrey lately. You can't help but have that shoved down your throat when it's on the actual news. I mean, I know I could be friends with somebody who's crazy left, just not talk about politics. But the fact that they're so militant and they use this platform, and I guess it's kind of hypocritical, because I would hope if I had that kind of power, I'd be like an Eastwood or like a Voight and use my platform. But even still, I mean, I see that these guys use discretion. They only seem to open their mouth and they just can't take it anymore. It's not like every other week they're saying, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Exactly. The difference would be like an Alec Baldwin, and then some of these guys that are just hard left. Like I get the opinion that, you know, Brad Pitt's pretty left, but he never annoys me with it. And to be perfectly honest, a man's entitled to his politics. The only problem is when they totally ruin my viewer experience with their crap. Like that, like when it sacrifices story, I get offended. If they're clever enough to graft it into a story, say something like Cider House Rules. I mean, that movie was an artistic piece of mastery. And yeah, I hated the worldview they were selling, but it all carried the story. That's different than when you're watching the story and all of a sudden you just get hit over the head with some political club, and it totally takes you from the screenplay, it takes you from the motion picture experience. That drives me nuts. And Hollywood has a habit of doing that. With
your ideals are gonna be woven throughout your art. That's just gonna happen. You can't hold that against them. I mean, their politics is wrong, but the way that they want to get their point of view out, I don't really hold it against them. I actually rented The Host, which was terrible, by the way. Don't even waste your time. But the concept of that movie excited me. I thought it was going to be a good idea. Failed in every way.
Not enough money.
It had money. The premise was so good. It probably would have made a better television show than a movie. The premise was very similar to that V show that was on TV. Photo editing app. Every time you look at a magazine, there's some very similar software. Somebody sat down and cleaned up the pictures. So I don't feel like I'm doing anything dishonest by cleaning up a photograph, because a picture doesn't do justice to who a person is. I feel like it's artistic to clean up a photograph.
Play devil's advocate for a second. You can kind of expound on even just the social media thing, and then the picture correction is just another extension of this. How distant can we go from reality in our life before there's real consequences? Yes, there's a lot of positives. Like, I like when you made a great case about the artistic thing and wanting to see somebody, wanting to try to create that in an image. I like that. That's a strong argument. But then again, think about it this way, the psychological fallout of seeing people look just amazing, and then you're in your pajamas or whatever, and you're in a bad part of your life, and like, I'm imagining some woman who just gained 50 pounds. She sees these pictures, and she's like, oh my gosh, I have fallen behind the pack so far. And so I wonder what it does to us. Like, when we mess with reality to this degree, are we got sort of a collective culture? Are we psychologically damaging ourselves? Because before, when it was a magazine, that was one thing. You're like, well, I'll never be that chick. But now it's the chick you went to high school with like a glam shot on the internet with a bikini at two days after she had her baby. And you're just like, what in the world?
That's interesting. I mean, I have to give it some thought. Online dating with the profile pictures. That's probably the very first taste of dishonesty through photographs, or dishonesty through you can out and out lie to somebody because it's this alternate universe. There's no way they can really vet you unless they meet you in person. So I heard
34, 24, 36,
yes.
blind.
And then a picture of somebody from a magazine, a friend who met a girl cross country. He met her online, and he flew out to see her. He said that she had this gigantic birthmark on the one side of her face. He was pretty shallow, so that relationship was over. But when he came back, he went through the pictures, but every single shot was of the good side of her face, quote-unquote good side. I guess he's probably hoping that he'll get to know me and this won't matter as much. Well, she obviously didn't know how shallow he was, but...
Oh, man, that's catfish, by the way. You're talking about catfish.
I've never personally seen a movie or the show. I know what the premise is. The premise is basically you get this online relationship, right, with someone who doesn't exist, or there's somebody who's misrepresenting themselves. Is that
right? That's right. It was almost like an entertaining quasi-social commentary doc. Yeah, but the movie itself is actually a pretty cool artistic statement, in my humble opinion.
Sleight of hand and twist of fate, on a bed of nails she makes me wait, and I wait without you, with or without you.
You are listening to the Leftist Antidote Show.